Sian, I'm so happy to welcome you to our offices at Thrive. We've been working for so long now to have a real impact on students' mental health. And we are so aligned on our belief that technology can actually help us reach students more effectively and achieve better results. But I want to ask, what made you, as president of Dartmouth, prioritize your students' mental health?
Well, we know that young people's mental health have been in decline, and I firmly believe that to perform your best, you have to feel okay.
No, I love that. And I love the fact that as we are seeing increasingly that AI will be more intelligent than we are, how can we help students and the rest of us be wiser than AI?
Yeah.
You know, they can keep intelligence, we'll take wisdom.
Evergreen is this idea that we can, for students, by students, build a generative AI-powered technology that helps with mental health, and having technology to help us learn to understand when we need to get help from others, how we best prioritize our day, how we find the compassion in ourselves.
And I love the name because green is about renewal.
Well, Dartmouth is the big green as
Yes.
an Ivy League university. Dartmouth students are high powered. They
Yes.
work hard inside the classroom. They push hard outside the classroom. And we know that we have to feel okay in order to do all these things.
But if we don't go inward to renew and refuel ourselves, we burn out and it's not sustainable.
You have to renew yourself. You have to feel okay about what you're doing. You have to pursue your passions and have courage and grit to do that. And what Dartmouth does is we build leaders. We've always done that. And we know that to be a good leader, you have to take care of yourself as well. I want my students to face challenge. I want them to try things that they aren't used to and to engage in debates with people that they might feel differently from. And you need that health and wellness and that feeling and sense of taking care of yourself to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations.
Well, my wake-up call came 2 years into building the Huffington Post. I was the divorced mother of 2 little girls, and I had bought into the collective delusion that in order to be super founder and super mom, I didn't have the luxury, as I saw it, to take care of myself. And so I burnt out. I collapsed, hit my head on my desk, broke my cheekbone. And that was the beginning of recognizing burnout as not just my personal problem, but a global epidemic, and wanting to raise awareness around it, which I did first through a media company and writing 2 books, Thrive and The Sleep Revolution.
Tell me about that and why you are so focused on this as well.
By 2016, I didn't want just to raise awareness. I wanted to help people change behaviors. And for that, I had to build a behavior change technology company. And Sian, what I really wanted to do and what is our primary goal at Thrive is to take these 5 daily behaviors that we engage in every day and elevate them. Bring all the science together that show us that these 5 behaviors of sleep, food, movement, we don't even call it exercise, just moving, stress management and connection are central to our health. They are much more important than our genes, which are only 7% of our health. So taking these 5 behaviors and elevating them and helping students, employees, users generally learn to improve them is really my passion. And we've worked with great behavioral change economists to help people through what we call micro steps.
Yeah, and I love the idea of focusing on aspects of sleep and nutrition as you go off to college or university,
Yes.
where often you're in control of those things for the first time. You're exploring a new environment. And the idea that students can have a tool and a companion right in their phone to help them ingrain these habits is really exciting.
And all behavior change knowledge makes clear that, in fact, small incremental changes become cumulatively healthier habits.
Arianna, we have over 100 students at Dartmouth working on Evergreen, and our student researchers have been digging deep into Thrive, and they really love the Thrive Reset, and that's going to be part of our Evergreen application. Can you tell us a little bit about it and maybe even show us yours?
So I love Thrive Resets because they're based on the neuroscience that while stress is unavoidable in anyone's life, cumulative stress is avoidable. And it is cumulative stress that's the problem that can lead to dysfunctional behaviors like binge eating or binge drinking because you are marinated in cortisol at the end of the day and you are trying to help yourself wind down. So in 60 to 90 seconds, we are told by neuroscientists, we can move from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system and interrupt the kind of fight or flight response. So we've built these hundreds of resets in 60 seconds, focusing on your breathing, consciously inhaling and exhaling, images that bring you gratitude or joy, quotes you love, music. But my favorite thing, Sian, is to build your own reset. So when you play my reset, you'll see it has pictures of me and my children, music I love, quotes I love, and a breathing bubble to remind you to breathe consciously.
Yeah, and I think our students are excited to build that and see what their friends build.
I so love the fact that Evergreen is being built by students, for students.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about Evergreen. It's for students, by students, to help give their peers the tools they need to thrive. And I love this idea that technology, as we know, is part of the reason we're often so stressed, but we can also use it as a way to help deal with stress and to use it to our advantage. One of the things I really like about Evergreen is it shows how technology with deep human expertise can help us perform better. And at Dartmouth, it's really the perfect place to do it. We actually are the birthplace of the term artificial intelligence. It was coined almost 70 years ago at a conference on our campus. It's really appropriate that we're starting Evergreen at Dartmouth because our researchers developed Therabot, which is the first clinically tested AI generative therapist and could be the first FDA-approved AI generative therapist. And we're using that research in Evergreen.
That is fantastic, especially as we see how much students are gravitating to chatbots for support and counseling. So to have that done really properly and with all the proper guardrails, it's so key. And I would love to know, so how is it funded? How is it being supported? What can we do to accelerate the support?
Yeah, well, we are raising philanthropy and we've had many generous donations, and it's also funded by grants. And we're very excited to open up the ability for Friends of Dartmouth and others to continue to contribute.
Wonderful. Well, I'm very, very grateful for this partnership and for your leadership here in elevating the importance of mental health among students.
Well, I'm so grateful to be doing this with you as well.